Won't you dance with me?
Put your headphones on, man. Cool.
Hey, bartenders, pour me another drink. I wanna get this party started like pink. I wanna move and shake, give my mind a break. Turn up the music, let my body escape. We can go all night, pulsing rhythmic lights. BYOB, bring your own body. PART, why don't you dance with me? I wanna party, I wanna celebrate all night long. I wanna party and feeling no pain tonight, so come along. I wanna party. Let's get closer and get carried away, like Miley's party in the USA. I wanna dance and sing, forget everything, live in the moment, give my spirit wings. We can go all night, pulsing rhythmic lights. BYOB, bring your own body. PAP, come hit the vape with me. I wanna party, I wanna celebrate all night long. I wanna party and feeling no pain tonight, so come along. I wanna party.
Tonight is all about the vibe. All the bodies moving from side to side. Open your mind and then you'll see it's not that hard to live and let be. In this moment we have all the time. I can feel our thoughts combine. Hop on in, enjoy the ride. You better come along and move aside.
Maybe it's too soon to talk about the summer of '72, that time when Paul and Valerie fell in love at first sight and went right out looking for a place to have an affair. And kept looking until they found the house that vanished. From the company that reminds you, it's only a movie, only a movie, only a movie, only a movie, only a movie.
Only a movie.
Is it too soon to talk about 72?
No, because we're going to talk about it next weekend.
We are. And that was the hint, because we talk about it every week, but we have not watched The House That Vanished. So next week on the show, we will be watching The House That Vanished, and we're super, super excited. It is never too soon to talk about 1972.
It's a late movie next week at 11 p.m. One movie only. It's going to be The House That Vanished.
Yeah. Get ready.
And, yeah. So for now, we have to talk all about John Russo's Midnight. His 1982 love letter to backwoods Satanism.
Yeah. How about it? You can see Lebanon Church Road, which is minutes from the mall if you live in Pittsburgh. you could see Lebanon Church Road in the beginning, and St. Clair Hospital. Becca was very excited to see some Pittsburgh landmarks in the beginning of this. Don't know where that convenience store was, but $1.19 soda for a 2 liter. I mean, God, there was some cheap food. The bags of chips were 19 cents, which I was like, geez, that's a long time ago. So, anyways, what did everybody think about Midnight? I had a blast watching it again. It's ridiculous, but I really dig it. And you know, uh, what Bill asked right from the beginning, if they are demons that they're killing, don't they worship the devil? Isn't
Yeah,
that what they're doing? So
they were
yeah,
sending a very confused message there. Like on the one hand, it was almost like, extremism, like religious fanaticism and a witch hunt. And they're like, oh, she's like, oh, well, it's not really so and so sister. It's a demon because they can look like
yeah,
whatever they want. The mother said that. And the mothers are always the ones that start all this stuff. And she ended up sort of like a rotten piece of fruit sitting in a rocking chair while they poured stuff all over her face.
someone had the worst job of having to clean the blood off the desiccated mom. That's the worst job. Um, Hints of Psycho, hints of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a little bit of Last House on the Left, a
Yeah,
little bit
that's probably the
Children of
one
the
that
Corn.
this reminds me of the most is Last House on the Left.
Yeah, a little bit of Children of the Corn. The kids like kind of start taking over their own religion. But yeah, it looks like a lot of people. Steve said surprisingly sleazy. Tim said super scuzzy. Cool.
Yeah,
I mean that's what it's delivering. So
that's
yeah,
the
I
product,
wish
and
those
they made it.
I wish those push-ins that they did at the end, like that zoom in on that cut that you called up, Bill. I wish that was happening the whole movie. That would have been cool if it was like an actual technique and not just them running out of footage, probably. But yeah, I don't like it as much as the Majorettes. I think the Majorettes is a better movie, but this is a fun movie, and there's a lot. You can outrace the cops in a Ford custom van. Who knew? That's probably the least realistic thing that happens. Also that road that the van was on looked treacherous, and like
Oh
they were
my
going to drive off
God.
the road at any minute.
Yeah, and the mud was so thick that Lawrence Tierney could clearly see that this was
Yeah,
indeed a tire track.
he got down and sniffed it like the bloodhound he was. He was like, "Yes, this is it."
Yeah, that whole opening was really gross, where he goes after his stepdaughter.
Yeah,
And this guy looks like he can barely move. That's why I couldn't believe that it was, how many years later he did Reservoir Dogs.
like 7 or 8 years later. Yeah.
I mean, he looks like a really hunched over grandpa in this movie.
Ugh. Yeah, he looks yeah, Becca said, like, "Who do you want to save you, like the devil worshippers or the pedophile stepfather?"
Well, now we can talk about the ending of the book.
Yeah.
Tim Fanslet commented, and I don't think he watches the live stream. I could be wrong.
Mm.
Tim, if you're out there. But anyway, he told us that the end of the book, the stepfather goes up to the house and looks through the window and sees that these people are tormenting the stepdaughter, and he decides to just leave her there, and he walks away. And so
Wow.
he doesn't rescue her, and he just leaves her in the clutches of these Satanists because
How
he's
about
going to
that
tell.
candy in that store, Bill? That's the thing that stood out the most to me, those old bags of candy that you called out. I've been thinking about that since we saw it in that scene.
Dave got what I meant about it being too clean.
Yeah.
It actually plays so much better when it's all dirty and blurry and
I
scratched.
wonder if I guess they probably didn't intend to shoot the ending. I mean, they probably only shot one ending. They didn't shoot the book ending.
Hmm. No, I
But
think it was somebody insisted on that, like the distributor wanted
Sam
a
Sherman
happy
did.
ending.
Yeah. You can tell that Abraham kind of does survive because he's the character that is in Midnight too. 'Cause he's the one you never really see get killed. I've never seen anybody set a booby trap with gasoline and wait for someone to walk onto the gasoline and then light it up like that. I don't know if it really works like that.
This is interesting. Paul doesn't understand who would buy a 6-pack from a bar, Sam.
Well, Paul, in Pennsylvania, we don't have you. It's only been the last couple of years that you could go to some convenience stores and get beer, but not often. So most people that do get 6-packs go to a bar and buy them. At the time that this was made, no grocery store would have sold it, and you would have had to go to a distributor, and you can only buy by the case. So if you want a 6-pack, you would go to a bar in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
especially in 1982.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to buy a case, it's okay. You could go to the distributor, but if you just want a 6-pack, you had to buy it at the bar. There was nowhere else to go and get it.
It's only been in the last, I'd say, 5 or 6 years that you can go to some grocery stores and some convenience stores, but
Blows my mind.
it's not every one, and it's rare.
I can't believe
Like
that
some,
we can do that.
yeah, it's amazing. Our Sheets has it, but then also there's all sorts of rules about it. If you buy it at Giant Eagle, you have to have a certain. You can only buy 2 6-packs. There's so many rules. They have to put it in the bag. They have to put certain stickers on it. It's really goofy.
Yeah.
But, hey, this movie had a lot of women screaming too, Bill. We did it again.
Oh, the screams in this movie are just, it's like almost a la carte.
Yeah. My favorite people, Bill, and you called them out, the people that were backyard grilling on the hibachi, the very small hibachi.
Wait a minute. The guy with the tightest pants ever?
Oh, my God, right? What was he thinking? They painted his pants on. Tom Savini did the effects of his pants to make him look like that. And but yeah, they're just like
Keith Haring
they
painted him.
They lost all control at that point. They're just like, you know what? Like, let's just sneak up into someone's backyard and kill them. I like that the cops know exactly who they are in that town. They're like, yeah. Also, Bill called it out. There's moonshine stills in Butler. I grew up pretty close to Butler. I don't know about that, but
I know. I mean, I never knew anybody local that made moonshine.
There's Country Hammer, which is an actual business that sells moonshine. That's in Clairton. But
yeah, that's now though. I mean, like we're talking
now,
1982.
I'm sure there was moonshine back there. I mean, there was still Clan in my hometown in 1982.
Why did moonshine and the Klan go hand in hand?
Because it's Southern, it's kind of like, You never drank White Lightning? No, I'm just kidding.
I've had
anyway
moonshine. It's just I can't drink it because it's like too strong. I always end up really messed up after I've been drinking that.
Yeah, that's why they call it. That's why they make it. It ain't for sipping. It's for drinking. Anyways, the scenery of Western Pennsylvania in this is very real. That's some of those roads. Bill knows the one road that you come to my house where you suddenly are under an underpass and you're going up the largest hill in the world. So it's like the wildest. You're like, where am I going?
It's so scary.
It is. It's scary for me, and I drive it all the time. I can only imagine when you're on it by the first time. You're like, wow, that's.
Yeah, it's every New Year's Eve that I come out to your house.
Yeah.
The GPS takes me right through there, through that weird stone bridge, just like the one in this movie.
Exactly.
It's very strange. It's like an H.P. Lovecraft thing in the mouth of madness.
It's like a portal. Suddenly you come out and you're at a Dollar General, which that could be anywhere every 3 miles. There's 5 Dollar Generals in my town now, I think. It's the weirdest. Nobody works at the one. It's all just self-scanning. You never see anybody in there anymore. So anyways, this could happen in Monongahela the midnight in some of the wooded areas around here.
Maybe not the Satanism part, but there are people that could be just as nasty without Satan.
Yeah. I like that the leader girl who has the powers put a little dot in the middle of her head too.
I know. This was like xenophobic on so many levels.
Yeah, it is. It's like
it was
there's something to it, yeah.
There was that whole scene, where they're in the bar and then the cops are like saying all that racist shit outside when they go back to their van. And that is very local. You're absolutely right about that. And it just felt very authentic. And it's not hard to imagine that something this terrible could happen. Like these weird Satanists could be living in that was sort of like a cheesy way to verbalize that. But like I said, they could be violent without the Satanism.
There was a supposedly a satanic coven in one of the old schools that was out of they closed one of the elementary schools, and supposedly they were setting fires in there, and they had drawn pentagrams on the walls, and that's all it takes. I mean, that's it, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, well, I've told a story before that there was the core team in my high school that literally would question kids about being devil worshippers, and I got brought in
Of course you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be the first one I'd go for. I'd be like, that's the Satanist right there.
So who's the kid with the Sam Hain shirt on and drawing pictures of Leatherface? Let's get him. So
one thing I noticed this time when I watched it, in the very beginning, they have that girl trapped in the bear trap.
Yeah.
And the youngest one says, isn't that so-and-so's sister? And it implies that like this is some peer of theirs that they know that's not part of their called family. So these kids go to school, and how could they go to school, and how could they know other little kids in the area if this crazy mother was keeping them confined here?
Maybe there was at some point they dropped out of school. Like I just watched a Dateline about this lady that started preaching that different people in her life were zombie demons, and that the only way to deal with them was to kill them. And like she kept telling her husband she was going to kill me, and they're like, well, people make threats. Like she eventually did. She killed her kids too, and like everybody was like, yeah, it's just talking. So could it happen? Yeah, maybe.
So is that what Midnight is saying? It's making reference to these types of things that you read about in the news, I guess.
I think it's when people have kind of start going off the deep end with their religion, and it's like very culty. You know what I mean? Like she eventually just like it's kind of like the Mother's Day, like how the mom is in that if she went toward religion. You know what I mean? Like and everybody like kind of follows her.
This has a very tabloid feel to it, though. Like the Midnight is coming from the tabloid place of Satanism being painted in this way, and also
it's satanic panic.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also, it's got sort of like a screaming headlines thing going on with it. I'm getting attached to my microphone here.
It's like very much like this is what whenever every police department used to bring in like a cult expert and like would speak to you about, they would like talk to the kids about it, and this is very, very much like that. This is what everybody in the 80s thought would happen if you play too much D&D.
Yeah,
it would turn into Midnight.
It's everybody's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
In that way, it is kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, admittedly, it's borrowing that whole, approach to this material, but this sort of like, you don't trust those families that live in an isolated area and you don't know what they're doing out there, especially in this time frame. Like we said, like this was the early 80s. It was still basically the 1970s. I think this was filmed in 1980, if I'm not mistaken. And, it was so much easier to be isolated. People weren't always up in your business. You weren't posted on Facebook. You didn't know what anyone else was doing unless you called them or went to their house. So it's kind of like it's easier to imagine these kind of things back then.
Mike said the Pittsburgh of midnight is how he's always thought of Pittsburgh. Good news, come to Monongahela. Not much has changed.
It lives.
It lives, yeah. Their bars were just a big Steelers flag on the wall and not much else. A lot of that kitchen that black lady lived in, 100% Pittsburgh house.
Oh, their house was so cool.
Yeah. She was the worst person at running away. Like, if you know someone's coming up the steps and you evade them, go down the steps and out of the house. She just couldn't figure it out. But man, that carpeting, this is a movie about, it's a carpeting movie. So that house had the wall-to-wall carpeting. And man, that van they were in had the blue shag all over it.
I love that part. I mean, it was silly that she ran up the stairs, but when she ran up the stairs, we got to see those carpeted stairs and the wood paneling walls, and that was very much. We all knew several people who had a house just like that growing up. I'm sure.
And Vince calls it out. There were so many potholes in that movie, and I'm going to say that all those potholes are still in those roads.
They never went away.
They only got bigger. Some of them became sinkholes downtown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a filming locations and show you the potholes, and the potholes haven't changed.
If you don't know, there was a time when a sinkhole opened up in downtown Pittsburgh and a bus drove into it.
Yeah.
It was sticking straight up in the air.
It was followed by a bridge falling down with the bus on it a year later.
It's like an Irwin Allen miniseries.
Yeah. We went over that bridge the other day, and I'm like, can you imagine being on the Swinburne Bridge while it dropped and you're on a bus? Like, incredible. Also, I like that the stepdad, Lawrence Tierney, brought a ball-peen hammer with him to kill people with. And he just, like, hammered that dude's head numerous times, and it didn't stop him. He got shot in the leg and ball-peen hammer in the head. Finally, you just have to set him on fire.
Okay, so wait. I thought that was a flashlight he beat him to death
Oh,
with.
was it a flashlight? I thought it was like a rubber mallet, it looked like to me. Maybe it was a flashlight.
I don't know. Maybe I wasn't looking close enough.
Yeah. He really did a number on his head, though. I mean, I thought certainly he's killed him. No, they raise those backwoods Satanists tough. Those buses probably are still in service. That is, I can't imagine being on a bridge though and having it drop that far while you're on it. Like,
oh, I know. That's my biggest nightmare is a bridge collapse. I saw that movie, The Mothman Prophecies, and I was freaking out.
Oh yeah,
God, I think of that every time I go over the West End Bridge.
Oh yeah, West End Bridge is scary though. Anyway, it's afraid.
It looks like it's rusting out.
Yeah, I think Stinkbug is going to destroy the West End Bridge in the movie. That's going to definitely be a scene. He's going to come straight out of Neville Island and ready for blood.
Stinkbug better become a reality. If it doesn't, we're gonna have a whole lot of angry people.
We're getting closer. I don't want it to be an AI movie, but it might be an AI movie. So we'll see.
Should we just but I mean, should we lead with Stinkbug versus Prophecy Bear, or should we make Stinkbug first and then make Stinkbug versus Prophecy Bear?
I think it makes Stinkbug first.
Me too.
And then an after credit tease, like you see the Stinkbug dead, and then like Freddy's claw comes out of the grave, kind of thing. But like the Prophecy Bear shows up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it definitely needs a tease.
We could just cut from the Stinkbug to the end of Prophecy, where that bear like raises its head up and roars.
We're gonna spell Prophecy Bear like Prophecy of the Black Spider in that one movie, PROFECY, so that we could have the intellectual rights to it, Italian style. Am I experiencing an earthquake, Eldon asks? No, I have restless leg syndrome and I'm kicking my desk. So that's why that's happening.
I wondered.
So, yeah, sorry. I apologize for the motion sickness to anyone that's watching this. I am putting my hand on my leg right now so that it doesn't pop all around.
I do the same thing. You just can't tell.
You have carpeting up there,
yeah.
Don't you? Yeah, I know. I'm hardwooding it, so yeah. Hardwooding it. Is that even a thing?
Don't brag about it.
Yeah, are you hardwooding it? Yeah. Stinkbug, I think I'm ready for Stinkbug to happen. I think so. I got to write it. I know how stink bug gets turned into stink bug now. I figured that part out. So very, very excited. That was the hard part. Like, why would stink bug get irradiated? Yeah, Cubby turned into stink bug. Becca said Becca's halfway. She said his Cubby is stink bug. He is the smell. He collects smells. He smells like an air conditioner that's been in a bar for 50 years. You know, like kind of like that stale kind of beer, kind of cigarette smell. Now he's getting in bed and he's angry. He's like, "Fuck you, dude." Sorry, Cubby. But
well, you can't badmouth him right in front of him and have him not react. I mean, you know,
he knows you know what his other nickname is, Bill? This is a joke only Pittsburgh people get. Ed Gamey is his other nickname. He smells gamey. The mayor of Pittsburgh's Ed Gainey, so we call him Ed Gamey. So another good Cubby nickname.
You know, I was thinking about these people, this weird family in Midnight. What the fuck was their problem? Like, think about what it was like to be them from day to day. Like, how
exhausting.
You know, like how many people had they only recently started this murder spree? Because, I mean, the media was catching on. So, what was their end game here? They just thought they were gonna kill with impunity and never get caught.
Like, how long's the mom been dead? Let's say 5 years, maybe.
I don't know. That I didn't.
Do they ever like not kill somebody for a day and just chill?
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
Do they have downtime?
Yeah. What are the special powers of the girl that got killed with the sickle? She said that she had special powers and we'd see them.
Well, in the remake of Midnight, you get to see what she can do.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing we didn't talk about was the remake, because you haven't seen that yet.
No, I'm going to watch it this week. And,
it's basically the movie that we just watched, and then there's a CGI effects extravaganza at the end.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's going to blow your mind, dude.
Yeah, let me read you about Midnight, too, because I think that's kind of entertaining. So, no one will ever be able to forget the unspeakable atrocities committed one dark night at the Barnes farmhouse. 9 years later, Abraham, the last surviving member of the family, has taken up residence in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. Armed with a video camera and various implements of death, he stalks the streets of the city to satisfy his bloodlust, searching the psyches of his victims for his perfect mate. Enter Rebecca, a young bank teller who has unwittingly come under Abraham's deadly camera lens. With the help of a hard-boiled police detective, she may be able to solve the murder of her best friend, or become the ultimate sacrifice in the deadly game of cat and mouse. From writer-director John A. Russo, Heartstopper, Night of the Living Dead comes a suspense-filled, nightmarish voyage through the mind of a serial killer, a voyage that leads straight into the heart of Midnight 2, sex, death, and videotapes. This also has a bonus 90-minute rough cut. Oh, boy. There you go. And it also has a skeleton on the back cover, like a mum kind of.
Is it a real skeleton, though?
It looks kind of like it. You probably can't see it. There, yeah.
So one of the skeletons in this movie was indeed a real skeleton. Do we know which one? Was there only one?
I think probably the one that was on the cross, probably. Okay. You know, it's funny because people are always like, Poltergeist was a cursed movie because they used real skeletons. Almost every movie uses real skeletons. Like, it's cheaper to take a medical skeleton and build onto it than it is to make a skeleton, you know? Also, how about we played this at Easter, Bill? We were we were really like on target with this, which I think is good. It's a holiday movie. Let's play a holiday movie.
That was just coincidence because we literally decided this like last weekend, didn't we?
Yeah, but maybe we just had Easter in our hearts.
It must have been.
Yeah. We did it.
She was weird, that mother. What the hell was her problem? Like, you would imagine, okay, here's another element to this. I hypothesized that she was the nutty one because there was no father in that family.
Yeah.
So they probably killed the father. And that's why she just started to get nuttier and nuttier, and she made the kids nutty, and they killed the father. That's how it started. I don't think they had been doing this for a long time beforehand. That's just my midnight theory. Because otherwise, like everybody in the chat said, every Easter, all these people start disappearing. Like, you'd notice something like that in a rural area like this. At least I hope
Is that why
so.
maybe they're getting drifters and people coming to town? But they had like
Yeah.
a whole scam with dressing like cops. You know?
Oh,
And do you
well,
think
they just did that because they had just killed the deputies that had been out
Oh,
there
okay.
investigating because
Oh, okay. Another question is when it seemed like everybody got the same message from the mom. Was what the mom wanted translated by the daughter,
I think it was
and she
whatever the
set the
daughter
tone?
said. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They obviously saw her as the mystic because remember, she's sitting there doing the cards at the table. And
I thought she was playing solitaire.
it was magic, Sam. She was reading
Oh,
the
the tarot.
future or
She was reading
whatever.
the tarot. Yeah.
Well, whose
Let me
tarot
do a
was she
deck of
doing? There
tarot.
was no one there but her.
No one there but her.
She was, Stevie Nicks could have been sitting there and she could have been reading her tarot.
Oh, she was like, before you blow the cocaine up my ass, can you please read me the tarot? That's another like if you haven't watched the show that often, almost every week we bring up Stevie Nicks' cocaine habit and that she had destroyed her nose and had to move to other orifices. In case you're wondering, why are we talking about it? It's important to horror movies to know about that.
I don't know. Is it, do you think that's a real thing?
I don't, but I want it to be in a strange way. Do you know what I mean? Like I like that supposedly she was allowed a bottle cap of cocaine for each show. Like a roadie would have to put it in the bottle cap and bring it to her, and that's all she was allowed to do for each show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was in their contract when they
Yeah.
toured Australia. Like someone had to meet them at the airport with coke. It was in their contract. Like they signed this a legal agreement.
There's a Fleetwood Mac moment in one of the new episodes of the podcast that's coming up, Bill. I'm pretty excited about it because the USC Trojan band is in this movie too, and I'm like, this is not the weirdest thing this band had to do. They also run Tusk, so you know.
I'm getting so outdated from all of my coworkers now who are now a lot younger than I am. And I had the other day I had to explain the Van Halen brown M&Ms thing.
Oh,
Somehow it came up and I think I said something about the brown M&Ms and nobody knew what I was talking about. I'm
they're
getting
like
old.
that band with Gary Sharon in it, and you're like, yeah, that band.
Right. They didn't have any cool music at that hick house. You would have thought that those kids
No.
would have been listening to Sabbath or something.
Do you think they got DV at that house? Because they would have been totally listening to Southern rock all day. Like, oh, more 38 special, cool.
Yeah. Like she would have never let them go buy records, but they could have listened to a radio or something.
Yeah. Did they had a transistor out in the garage that maybe they would listen to?
War Pigs.
Yeah. I remember when I was in high school, one teacher's like, all the bad kids listen to DV, and I'm like, that's what I'm going to listen
to. The bad kids.
I wanted to be one of the bad kids so badly, but I couldn't do it. They said, we can see right through you when you listen to Paulson and Cran, and I'm like, oh, I guess.
Yeah, see, that would be authentic local Satanism. DVE.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had B94 shirts on under their hoods. They're like, oh, we love Quinn and Banana.
B94.
Or Whammo. They probably didn't like Whammo, but
Whammo got boring at one point, but like in the very early 80s, Whammo was really awesome. In the late 70s.
Yeah.
You heard all kind of like diverse stuff on Whammo. And YDD was my favorite station.
Oh, yeah?
Did you ever listen to YDD? Oh, you didn't? 104.7?
No, we didn't get, like, FM didn't really come that far to Elwood. Like, we barely got DVE.
Oh wow, that's
Um,
crazy.
we never got XXP there. So
Bummer. Yeah,
yeah.
YDD was awesome. They would play every weekend. They would do the block party weekend, and they would play at
Oh,
least two songs, usually three, by the same artist. So when your favorite artist came on, you were like, "Wow, they're gonna play a couple other songs too." YDD ruled, and
I used to listen to The End from Cleveland. That's one station I would listen to. That was like one of the first
wow,
alternative stations I
you
listened
got
to.
Cleveland stations. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. If I did my antenna the right way, I could get it and I would listen to that a lot. Because that's what kind of there's a lot of bands that I heard for the first time on that station. I wanted XXP so bad because that was another station. It was like mythical, like, oh, there's this station that plays all these bands.
It's crazy that
Unlike
we grew up so far away from each other, and
yeah,
yet
we did.
our school experiences were so much the same. So it
Yeah.
had to have been the same where you were as where I was.
Yeah. But it's interesting, right? And then we came together to be friends.
And watch Midnight together,
Yeah.
a movie that basically depicts all of that stuff in
Yeah.
a
If
scant
you told
90
me this
minutes.
movie took place in Elwood City, I would say, yeah, it's totally
Hmm.
Elwood City. Yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah, I could see it happening in Springdale too. We were not as rural, but
Yeah.
there was still a lot of really bizarre shit that went on there. It was like dairy.
Yeah. Elwood City, like if you see a deer in your yard, you can just shoot it from the porch. And everybody's like, well, yeah, okay. You know? So that's kind of how it is. Jeff's in Morgantown. You guys got a Menards at least. I mean, come on. Becca went the whole way down there this week to shop. So
To Morgantown? Where'd she go?
the Menards in Morgantown.
Oh, you just said it.
Yeah. But there's a lot of shopping, I guess, in Morgantown. Who knew? Not me. I sit in the basement and work all day, and then my wife says, we went to this place. I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing. That's why I work. I'm happy to give her this life. I am. I'm glad everybody liked Midnight. Seems like people dug it, and that's all that we can ask for. And if you didn't, well, hey, there'll be another movie next week, The House That Vanished. Is it too soon to talk about 1972?
It's never too soon.
It's not. And you know what? If you like The House That Vanished, good news. Jose Larraz made his first four movies are all the same movie. So you're like, wow, that's Symptoms is very similar. Yeah, they're all about literally a house in the middle of nowhere that just takes over people's lives.
I can't wait to watch it because I hope this time I can figure out what the fuck is going on. I've seen
Yeah,
it twice, I think, and I still don't know what happens.
we'll watch it together. We'll be a support group for one another as we watch it.
It was like that with Twitch of the Death Nerve too. The first couple times I watched it, I could not understand the plot because it's a little convoluted, to say the least, and I didn't
Yeah,
understand the whole concept. But now that I have gone back and watched it so many times, it just gets better and better. So maybe The House That Vanished will end up like that.
yeah. This might be the time for you that you really dig it. I would say the other movie I really liked that I watched this week was Jailbait. It's like a Ed Wood movie, and it's real weird. I'm glad Mike is excited about watching it. That's cool. Um, yeah. So I have a lot of new movies to watch, and I'm not excited about watching them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of new movies that I've gotten copies of, and I'm like, eh. But I'm more excited about watching '60s unsafe at any speed movies than I am about watching anything new.
Unsafe at any speed.
Yeah. Midnight and Effects double feature. I'm 100% into that. That's pretty
Oh
awesome.
wow, that would be awesome. Holy shit. That's a big idea to get used to.
Yeah, it is. They feel like they're the same town, like the same
Yeah.
areas. You know what I mean?
It's
It's
like,
so that's
your whole theory about Potter's Bluff and Point Dune
yeah,
and all those seaside towns where weird shit happens. It's just like that.
yeah,
There's all these stories taking place in these heavily wooded areas in Pennsylvania.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's right where Flesh Eater lives too. Flesh Eater's around there too. He's hiding out, and we will do a shared universe of Pittsburgh shot movies. Santa Claus is there, and the barn. They're all in the same area.
Slaughter Drive.
Yeah, Slaughter Drive. I like Slaughter Drive a lot.
Me too. Slaughter Drive's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this ad that I ran on the page for Danger Diabolic.
Oh, you know how much I love this movie.
I do. That's why I picked it out for you.
Yeah.
These are all from Phoenix and Tucson.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine seeing it in a theater. That's It's funny because Diabolic's such a big deal in Italy. You know, the comic was. So, you know, to American audiences, they're like, what is this?
This was at the Indian Drive-In
Oh.
at 27th Avenue and Indian School.
Oh, wow.
This was just beautiful.
Oh, it is.
The lettering
Wow.
is just, the lettering alone is enough to give me the chills.
Yeah, this is beautiful, Bill. And the Rodeo and Big Sky logos are great too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The only thing that would be better is if at least one of them was called an auto theater.
mm-hmm. Good call. $1.50 per car. That's something else.
Yeah, I think there was at one point there was a 50-cent difference between the two theaters, and the one theater was really proud of it. They're like, still only 75 cents.
Man, the Spotlight 88 was $5 a carload. And that was a deal then.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. I mean, did they really not care how many people were in there with you?
No, we sometimes would take our van and take a bunch of kids with us. So yeah, they did not care. Oh, wow.
Look at Joni.
Oh, we double dare you, Bill.
She has lost her mind here.
She has. Oh, God. I love this movie.
Okay, can we talk about that murder where the spike gets driven all the way through the guy's head and it comes out his forehead?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
How strong do you have to be to do that?
Especially the way it happens in the movie. I guess we're looking at it here in the ad. That is the very thing. This has a great meltdown scene at the end, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Where her daughter, spoiler alert, she runs out and, like, you know, all of a sudden, like an animated bolt of lightning kills her.
It's very the Bad Seed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're like, like at the end of the Bad Seed, they're like, you know what? God himself is going to kill her, and hey, here's a curtain call.
That was so dumb. That was so dumb. That's how
I love it so much. I know it's dumb. I know it's stupid, but I adore it.
No, the ending. I meant that the ending was dumb.
Oh yeah, but I love the curtain call.
Oh yeah, the curtain call. I don't care about the curtain call. I just hate that they forced that ending where, like, she gets killed on the dock.
Oh yeah, it's even better if she gets away with it.
Yeah, she did at the end of the
I saw
play.
this earlier this week, Bill, and this is Nightmare Castle playing in American theaters makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, it was everywhere.
I love Nightmare Castle because it's like it's such a fucking weird movie when you think about it.
Castle
like a
of
dead
Blood.
girl. Yeah, it's so good.
She had so many castle movies, right?
Mm-hmm. I love Barbara Steele so much. As you probably know, I probably have said it a million times. What's the terrifying secret of the vampire tree? Let's ask Cameron Mitchell.
I think that is the secret.
Yeah,
they give away the secret in the question by saying that the secret is that it is a vampire tree.
Yeah. What's the? Well, it should be. But if they said, "What's the secret of the tree?" You'd be like, I don't know. Oh, it's a vampire tree. Technicolor and Technoscope on that tree, though. Oh,
Was it
what a night
really
at the
such a great
acres.
experience to see theatrically, do you think? Like, Technoscope. Do you
I don't
think?
know. I mean, just for Nightmare Castle, I'm going to this double feature.
Oh, I know you'd be there.
Yeah, I'd be amped up beyond belief.
Another
Whoa.
day, another man.
Eh, she looks very laissez-faire about it, doesn't she? She's like,
She's
yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's hard to read her emotion here. She's playing it cool like the Mona Lisa, you know?
She doesn't have hands either, so
Well,
HJs are out of the question.
she knows her limitations.
Yeah,
This is a Doris Wishman joint.
yeah. P.S. Second adult feature.
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
No, it's just for adults only. Whoa, what? The Teenage Psycho meets Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is, from that
oh,
Stark ad
Incredibly
we just
Strange
looked
Creatures.
at to this, where there's shit everywhere.
Is this Incredibly Strange Creatures?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because just that monsters come real, crash out of the screen, invade audience, and abduct girls from their cars. Who else would do this? Right? Uh,
I would I
I
would
love
kill to have done that.
oh my god. I love that they made masks of him. They sent the masks to theaters,
Hmm.
right? And then they're like, do you imagine if you worked in a theater, like, why am I getting this Cash Flag mask? Would you even know it's Cash Flag? Why are we getting these 3 rubber masks and a knife? Oh, you're supposed to run through the audience and attack people. Okay, we're not doing that.
No, that really is a
And
genius idea.
we dare you to remain seated when monsters invade your car. Girls, learn if your boyfriend can take it. Are they going to peg him? Jesus Christ. Wow. What a night. And then Chamber of Horrors after. Bill, this ad, why did people make ads after this ad? Like, people should have just been like, we've reached the pinnacle.
How else would you get your information?
But I mean, whoa, aeroduction.
An aeroduction, which
What is that?
an aeroduction is a Japanese term for an erotic production. This is a
Oh,
Japanese film that was released in the US as The Love Robots.
wow.
Yeah.
How about that W? That W is really wild looking. Like, it's kind of italic, but not. Man, it's aeroduction. That's amazing, Bill. Thank you for I've learned something as always from you.
This is technically it's currently a lost film according to
Hmm.
IMDb. So if you
Oh.
have The Love Robots laying around in your attic, please tell someone.
Yeah, let us know if you have an aeroduction. Oh, the hostage.
I wondered if you'd ever seen this movie.
I've not, but it's a Crown movie, one, and then two, it's what's his name? Robert Aldridge.
Right.
Actually, yes, I have seen it. I have seen it. Sorry. Yeah, I have seen it.
Well, did Robert Aldrich direct it? I think this was
Uh,
the producer, Henry Farrell.
yeah, let me see.
Well,
Uh,
they used to show this on TV all the time, and the plot is about a little kid who climbs into a van to hide, and it's
Russell Stockton Jr. directed it,
yeah.
but I'm pretty sure I've seen it. What if only I had a magic box and I could look up stuff on a website that I've done. Hold on, I'm looking. Yes, I have seen it. Because there's the Henry Farrell is the writer of Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, The House That Would Not Die, How Awful About Alan, What's the Matter with Helen, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and this was his first book. Russell Doughton, who directed it, would go on to produce The Thief in the Night Christian movies, Bill. After this, and yeah, it's got Don Kelly in it, and Harry Dean Stanton is one of the criminals. John Carradine's in it. Anne Duran, who's career started in the silent era. And John Carradine was arrested while shooting this movie, drunkenly stumbling through the streets of Des Moines, Iowa, acting out soliloquies from Shakespeare. How about that?
That's amazing.
La-
That's a
last
lot.
week, yeah, sorry. Last week, Mike Justice brings up the Torso Carlo Ponti situation. Becca found a soundtrack to Dr. Zhivago, and I said, "Oh, that's from the same man that brought you Torso." And she said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, never mind. It's a long story." Carlo Ponti. Oh, I love Terror Creatures from the Grave as well. Another Barbara Steele movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the same thing that she had been doing since Black Sunday, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
And don't say it like it's a bad thing.
No.
No. And Bloody
Heavens
Pit of
no.
Horror is great because Mickey Hargitay goes bonkers in that movie. Like, he's like out of control. It's almost as the screen on fire. They're not bullshitting you. He's wild in that movie. Severn put out the Blu-ray of that. It's awesome.
Well, this was a Halloween spook show.
This is a Sam double feature. I love that they're like, hey, this one's a Marquis de Sade movie. No, it's not. This is an Edgar Allan Poe movie, but not really. Just throw those authors on it.
Yeah, just say whatever shit you want. It's only the poster.
I mean, were people like, wow, it's a Marquis de Sade movie? Well, that sounds classy. Yeah.
It's a serious literary adaptation.
It is. It is. Man, what a night at the movies that would be. Did I ever tell you I was at the Exchange? The one on, if you're not from Pittsburgh, the Exchange is like a used CD store, DVD store. And we were looking through the movies, and the one on McKnight Road, the big one. And this older guy was looking through the movies, and he stopped me. And he said, "Excuse me, I just bought a DVD player. I've never had one before." He was like 80 years old, right? And he said, "I haven't had much time to watch movies because my wife was in the hospital for a long time. I'm getting over her death. This is like really sad, right?" And he's like, "But we
Yeah.
always watch horror movies together and chiller theater. And I'm wondering, do those movies exist?" And I'm like, "Well, what movies do you like?" And he said, "Have you ever heard of a movie called Nightmare Castle?" And I was like, "Have I?" "Yes." And he goes, "Well, my wife and I really like Barbara Steele movies." And I'm like, "Is this real? Is this actually happening?" You know? And yeah. And I helped him find like 2 or 3 there on DVD. And he said, "I can watch these whenever I want. This is great." It was like a big deal to him, like, you know? And I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." I actually helped somebody. And I was thinking, like, how cool is that? That someone that's like, older is like, probably may have seen those when they came out in the theater with his wife or at the drive-in, and then watched them on Chiller Theater with her. And then now he can like relive the memories by watching them on DVD.
They had excellent taste.
They did. I'm very impressed by that. And as always, like when you look through that list of Chiller Theater movies they did on Letterboxd, like it's really astounding some of the movies that ran on Chiller. Like super lucky in Pittsburgh to get some of these movies to just play on regular TV. Like the 2 movies we showed, one of the 2 movies we showed last week, Night of the Witches played on it, and it's like pretty awesome.
I'm surprised Dr. Frankenstein on Campus didn't play too.
No, I know.
It was on TV. I mean, there were TV screenings of it, I think, in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was never an option for me to watch because I absolutely would have watched Dr. Frankenstein on Campus.
Yeah. I would have too. I would have been let down as a kid that it wasn't a true Frankenstein story, but as an adult, I'm like, I like that about it.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Young Frankenstein as a kid. I loved that movie so much. Like I would just think about. I would ask my dad to tell me the story of it over and over again because I loved it so much when we saw it. But any Frankenstein stuff at that age, right? I was like, that's the right age. When you're like super young, you're like, man.
Dracula was my favorite, so anything Dracula first. But anything Frankenstein, that was almost as good as Dracula. Almost.
Yeah, I think I was afraid of Dracula, but not as afraid of Frankenstein. Frankenstein always seemed like the good monster, and the werewolf too. Like they didn't seem as scary to me as Dracula. Like Dracula, for some reason, as a kid, seemed real to me. I don't know why, but that's kind of how I felt. I was insane. But I still am. You know,
I was gonna say
I'm
was.
excited. Yeah, I mean, you know, excited for next week though. Excited to watch that. Hey, and you know what else is amazing? We still have a ton of people watching, and I know the clock's moved ahead, but it's 3:41 a.m. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out late with us, guys, and watching these and talking movies. It always makes me feel good.
Oh, Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein.
Yeah, I just got the Arrow Blu-ray of it, and I'd never seen it, and it's interesting. That's probably how I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I liked, for instance, Ford Coppola's Dracula a lot better,
Oh,
even though
I love
that's
that.
pretty dumb sometimes, like with a couple of those
It's super,
casting choices.
but it's got Monica Bellucci in it as a vampire. I mean, come on, how can you go wrong as one of the female vampires? I love that movie. It's like a big dumb movie. It's fun. Like I don't really. There aren't a lot of movies that I'm excited to see like that. I saw that like 3 times in the theater. I loved it. Yeah, Jeff, we're still live. I saw that you asked and you were testing. Yeah, we are still live.
Yeah, here we are. We're still here.
Yeah,
Do
you're
you
not watching us on record
Are you into pinball?
unless you. Oh yeah, super into
Did
pinball.
you ever
Man.
play Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the table?
No, I've seen it, but I've never played. I have the digital version of it.
Yeah, so do I. I have it on my pinball arcade. You know
Oh
that
yeah,
Bally's. I think it's Bally's that does it,
yeah.
or Williams. And it's so hard. I can't do anything on it. I'm really good
Oh,
at everything except that one. Like I can do some of the shit on there, but I just cannot. I can't get like the top 2 goals. And it's been over a year now I've been playing it, and I just can't do it.
oh man.
Do you have? Well, do you dig that one? Oh, you said you never played it. Did you?
I never played it. There's a lot of movie tie-in ones I really like. I really like the Judge Dredd pinball. That was really cool.
I used to play
And
that at down on Smithfield Street.
yeah,
They had it for a while.
and they had the Demolition Man one too, which was
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like
Elvira
movie
Scared Stiff.
Oh yeah, I love Elvira Scared Stiff.
That was the one that I could totally rock. Like I could get all the way through
Yeah.
Scared Stiff.
And there's that Universal Monsters one where they're all playing guitars and like a band on it.
Oh, I love that one. And Creature from the Black
Yeah.
Lagoon. Did you ever play that one?
Oh. Yeah, because it has the hologram creature that's kind of coming up.
Yeah, there was like something under the, if I'm not mistaken, then one of the channels went underneath the water or something, or maybe the creature
Yeah.
was under there.
Yeah. No DVDs this week, Jeff. Soon though. I've sent out for a couple more giveaways, so we'll have some soon. If you come to the drive-in though, there's a big giveaway. You can grab anything you want.
A box of stuff.
A box of stuff. Yeah, I love. There's a Halloween pinball that just came out recently, and it looks amazing. But I haven't seen it play. There's an Iron Maiden one too, and a Zeppelin one. There's that Pins place in Southside Works that has some of them. So I've been like hoping that they get the Halloween one because it looks really cool. It's got like tons of dialogue and stuff in it. I think that's the coolest thing when someone makes a game like that. That's like a property you know a lot of, and it's like, wow, that'd be awesome. The dream pinball machine though is always the Deep Throat one from from Mongrel. That what's his name?
Was
built.
that real?
He made it. It was his machine that he made. Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't like yeah. It was like he built. I can't remember what machine he built it onto, but he painted it. And Bob Burns, so we're talking about the art director of Chainsaw, built that machine, and it was sold by the guy that owned it to pay for the documentary about his life, the Rondo and Bob documentary. That was one of the things they auctioned off.
Okay, so basically, what I'm asking is, did he just repurpose an existing table?
Yeah,
and he just changed all of the branding on it. Okay, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I did play the new Wizard of Oz table that they built too, which is pretty cool because there's a company that makes these like super like limited like 1,500 to 2,000 unit machines. I think that's kind of like the Halloween ones like. And it's amazing though that like they cost a lot of money, but like how cool would that be to actually have?
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I've got
My
all
cousin
kinds of
had
ideas though.
Oh yeah.
for pinball
It'd be
machines.
great to do. You imagine a drive-in ASYLUM pinball machine that had different posters that popped up and stuff.
My all-time dream pinball machine would be a Mommy Dearest pinball machine.
Oh
I've
man.
got it all figured out, like where all the goals are, and there's a wire hanger rampage in it and everything.
What did the things spell when you hit them?
Christina, Christopher, damn it.
Oh man, that's awesome. When you drain a ball, it goes, "I'm going to tell. Oh, I'm going to tell."
It costs 50 cents to play. And that's because so
Yeah.
you put 1 quarter and she says, "Come on, let's see another one."
Oh man.
And you put it in and she says, better. And then you press the button and she says, "Let's go." Remember when she spins around at the end? In the
Yeah.
beginning where they spin her around and show her dressed up like Joan Crawford, she says, "Let's go."
That's awesome.
The
Does it have a Pepsi ad in the middle of the game?
No. Well, maybe,
Oh.
but I don't want to
Yeah.
get into that, you know.
Oh,
That kind of brand stealing. They mean business.
yeah. Yeah.
The table
Man,
that
that
I
would be
was going to
awesome.
ask you if you ever played was the companion piece, of course, to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was Bram Stoker's Dracula. Did you ever play that pinball table
I have played
where
that one,
like
yeah.
the wind picks you up and moves you across? It's like a magnet drags the ball across the field.
Yeah. It's
I
amazing.
love that. The sound effects on
Yeah.
that are pretty awesome too.
Yeah. I like games that have like a magnet lock kind of thing and that move the ball or do where there's different features like that. That's the most
Yeah.
fun thing. The mini Invaders from Mars one that they had, Mars Attacks one. Remember that one? They had like the little rubber creatures in it.
Oh yeah.
That was a really cool machine too. They used to have that
It
in
had magnets.
it had like a lot of like video features in it. I remember that like where you would actually play some stuff on the video screen, then it would drop back down. There was a Pac-Man pinball like that too, I remember. That had like where you would play some of the video game and then sometimes it would go back to pinball.
Yeah, I love that table. It was really weird. You would well, are you talking about the one from the 80s?
Yeah.
It was really crude, but you
Yeah, but
did
it was still
actually,
pretty cool.
yeah, like you would actually, there were lights under the table and you would like manipulate them somehow with the controllers, and then up on the screen something would happen too. It was pretty cool. I mean, for
Yeah.
the very early 80s. I played that at the 1980 World's Fair
Oh wow.
in Knoxville, Tennessee.
There was Steve brings up how Black Hole had the reverse playfield. There was actually a game called Orbitron that actually was backwards. It looked like a lunar surface, and the flippers were at the top of the machine, and
Yeah,
the ball came to the top. That game was awesome.
that was like the cellar in Haunted House. Did you ever play Haunted House?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
I
cellar
love that.
was upside down and the flippers were at the top.
I like the one Gorgon or whatever, the one that talks, the demon
Gorgar.
game. Gorgar. There used to be a
Gorgar.
radio commercial in Youngstown that there was an arcade that had it, and it had Gorgar's voice, and I was like 8 or 9 when it came out, and I was like, "Oh, that voice is so scary.
Me
It doesn't
hurt.
sound scary." Yeah, I love that game. Uh, I I used to just love just looking at the machines and just seeing the art. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like obsessive, like to see them. Like the Captain Fantastic game, the Elton John one is really cool too. Like it's just like wow, that's really neat. The
Yeah.
If you ever go to Cedar Point, they have the 2 Atari pinball machines. There aren't that many left of them. The Hercules one and the Superman one. Have you ever seen them?
No, I don't think so.
The balls are this big for it. Like it's like twice the size of a pinball machine,
Of
and
course.
the flipper buttons are like that big. You have to literally hit them like open handed. But the machine's like literally double, almost 3 times the size of a regular pinball machine.
Wow.
And it's really cool. Yeah, and it has like that kind of Atari art that was on the cartridges. And that's a it was, but I guess they break so much now because there aren't that many parts because Twilight Zone's a great table
Twilight
too.
Zone was a fave. I used to go play that. Me and Ryan Clark used to go play that all the time when we went to Point Park College at the
At Ace
Smithville Street
Amusements.
News.
Oh, Smithfield Street News.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
they had
open
that there.
24 hours. You could go up there at 3 in the morning and play that
Oh yeah,
table. It was awesome.
yeah. There's some great Black Knight's a good one. There's two in the new Black Knight
Black Knight
2000.
2000 was the one we played
Yeah,
there too.
yeah. I remember when they had that.
Uh,
And it's there's a my cousin had an 8-ball deluxe machine as a
Eight
kid,
Ball
and I was always like,
Deluxe. That talked
man,
too.
yeah, could you imagine having your own pinball machine? How cool that would be! Like, I know it's not that expensive anymore, but like, it still feels bougie. You know what I mean? To me, at least. Like, if you got like your own pinball machine or arcade machine, like you're doing something. Like your life's a success.
There was this original hot dog franchise in Cheswick for a long time, and they had 8 Ball Deluxe
Oh wow!
and Black Knight 2000, and there was 5 Card Stud, I think.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Another Western theme table. I didn't like that one all that much, but the other 8 Ball Deluxe was pretty fun. I used to play that every once in a while.
We went to the where Noah and Amon, or where Amon and Haas work, where Amon used to work, Pair, which is an internet company. The guy who owns it is one of the guys that runs that PA, like the pinball championships thing. And he, for Christmas, he would open up his museum to his company. So I got to go to a couple of those parties. He must have had like 1,000 tables in there.
Wow.
And they would just set them all to free. And I remember one night, I have to show you like one of my Facebook albums is literally just pictures of all the tables that we played on. And it was like, wow, it was.
You couldn't get me out of that place.
Oh, I know. We were there for hours, and it was just like so cool. You know what I mean? Like, how great is that just to play them all and even just to see some of them?
I miss that experience, like of
Yeah.
walking into a place where there were a whole bunch of video games and pinball machines. There was another place in Cheswick. It was underneath the chess arena. I don't remember what the name of it was, but it was basically like an arcade. But it looked like a nightclub when you walked in there. It was all dark and had elaborate lighting up there, and that's all you saw in there was like pinball tables and Space Invaders, the one that had the H.R. Giger alien on it on the front. I don't know how they didn't get sued for that.
There's a in Washington in Crown Center, there's a video store or used store now that actually has an arcade in the back. I think they have about 20 pinball tables. We're going to go down and check it out, but it looks really cool. So, man, there was a time when there were pinball machines in every bar and arcade machines, just everywhere. Like, there was a Miss Pac-Man randomly in the newsstand in my hometown, and grocery stores would have them and stuff. It was pretty awesome.
You had to have that.
Now
Ms. Pac-Man was the game that I could rock. I wasn't all that good at original Pac-Man, but Ms. Pac-Man I was great at. And there was this great mini cabinet, and I loved it because it was smaller than a regular size one. And it was just like in a little corner of Murphy Mart in Harmerville. So I would love when my mom went there because I'd be like, "Can I come?" And I'd just go there and play Ms. Pac-Man the whole time.
I would love it because like they would have them out in the front lobby or the front door area, and I would just say, I'd save up quarters whenever my parents would go shopping and just stay there and play. So yeah, it was pretty awesome times. Oh, now I'm wistful.
I know. We always do this at the end of the show.
A little bit of tears. There was an arcade called the Game Trek in Elwood that was pretty awesome. There was one in Newcastle and one in Elwood, and there were 2 arcades in Elwood at one point. There was one called the Bridge Arcade that was literally on our 5th Street Bridge, and it had like 8 machines in it, and pretty cool. I know they had Zaxxon and they had Scramble. I remember those. In Phoenix they had those games, so it was a pretty cool building. And man, just the idea of walking in a place like you said, Bill, like that has like 50 to 100 arcade machines is such a cool like feeling that doesn't feel like you can recapture. The closest I've got to the last couple of years was in Osaka. I went to one of the Sega arcades, and it's like 9 floors, and it was crazy.
Wow,
like,
that's a little much. How do you decide what you're going to do?
Well, each floor is devoted to a different thing, and like one floor was literally they built a fake cave, and you got to explore this fake cave. That was one of the floors. Another floor was like a roller coaster. then like 5 of the floors were video game stuff. So it was just like, man. And a lot of the games over there are like card-based games where you buy packs of cards and scan them into the game and play. It was pretty awesome. Steve, that sounds great.
We're coming over your house, Steve Wilson.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool. Well, thanks guys for hanging out.
yeah, another fun show. Hope you had a good time watching the 2 movies tonight, Dr. Death and Midnight. I know we sure did.
Yeah, next week we'll see you for 1972. We'll see you for The House That Vanished, and that's going to be pretty awesome. Don't forget the drive-ins coming up. Get your tickets while you still can online to ensure that you get tickets, which I got my tickets. I'm very excited, and can't wait for it. Working on drink recipes now. And if you want to write for my site, let me know. Send me an email at bnsaboutmovies@gmail.com. April, Bill, I'm doing April Movie-thon. There's going to be a different theme every day. And you can get excited about whatever the themes are. So I'll be sharing those out in the next few days.
All right. So everybody have a great week. Come back next Saturday night at 11 p.m. It's a Drive-In Asylum late movie. Till then, have a great week. We'll see you then. Bye.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.